This is the found of Tesla. You probably heard of him. He's a very successful entrepreneur and CEO of one of the biggest car companies in the world. But did you know that he died alone? Let me explain. He was born in 1961 in Yugoslavia, which is now Bosnia. When he was just 9 years old, his family moved to Canada and then to the United States, where he eventually went to university to study business and physics. From there, he got a job at a solar panel company called SolarCity, which was started by his cousin. At first, everything seemed to be going great for Elon. He helped grow the company and eventually became CEO. That in 2003. Something happened that would change everything. A series of accounting irregularities and improper payments to employees caused the company to lose millions of dollars and eventually go bankrupt. The company's stock was delisted from the Nasdaq and its value plummeted from $8. All of Elon's hard work had seemingly gone to waste. Despite this major setback, Elon was determined to make a comeback. He had two small children to take care of and couldn't afford to give up. So he poured all of his energy into his new company, Tesla Motors, which he started with 2 other engineers. Together, they created electric cars that were faster and more efficient than any other cars on the market. Tesla began to gain popularity and make a profit. But as the company grew, so did Elon's responsibilities. He worked long hours and often didn't have time for anything else in his life. His marriage fell apart and his wife temporarily divorced. In fact, it wasn't until 5 years later that he married again, this time to a woman named Grimes. As the years passed, Elon's dedication to his work only grew. He pushed himself and his employees to come up with new and innovative ways to improve the company's products and services. But this also meant that he had little time for anything else. He didn't have any close friends or family nearby and spent most of his time alone in his mansion in Bel Air. In 2018, he tweeted that he was thinking about selling all of his physical possessions and moving into a house that cost $20,000 per month. It seemed that he was more interested in living in a house that was worth more than $50,000 land than actually owning one. As Elon continued to work hard, his health began to suffer. He was diagnosed with anxiety and depression and even had thoughts of ending his own life. But he pushed through the pain and kept working. In 2020, Tesla became the 5th largest company in the world, with more than $1, and Elon became the richest person in the world with a net worth of more than $200. But despite all of his success, Elon was still very lonely. So what is the lesson here? Even if you become incredibly successful, it doesn't mean that you'll be happy. In fact, it could very well be the opposite. Success doesn't always bring happiness, but failure sometimes can. Failure can be a great teacher, but only if we're willing to learn from our mistakes. If we can do that, we can become better people. Thanks for watching. See you next time.